Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of This Week on ForReel. I am your host, Derrick Murray, and it is a brand new day over here at ForReel. We are actually doing two, not one, but two discussions at the exact same time. So there is a whole other team recording their own thoughts, but we are going to be the most fun. So you guys have to stick around. We're going to get into everything. Brand new day. So up top, just so everybody knows, we will not be doing spoilers for the first maybe 10, 15 minutes. I will definitely let you know when it is spoiler time. So we will get into all of that, but we're going to break down all things Spider-Man. This movie is blowing away the box office. It's actually kind of insane. I don't think anybody could have predicted that it would have done this big, and everybody loves Spidey. So it's pretty incredible. I think as of this writing, it's already crossed like $900 million in its opening weekend globally, which is just... to put that into perspective, The Odyssey, which is on track to be one of the most, highest grossing films of the year, The Odyssey is tracking 911 within their 3 weeks of runtime. Now, granted, that movie's like way longer, kind of, but 911 million in 3 weekends, and Spider-Man is like 927. In its opening weekend, which is just, it's done the whole of the Odyssey box office, which is crazy. So with that in mind, let's talk about Spider-Man, Brand New Day, the fourth Tom Holland Spider-Man, the fourth individual movie for the MCU. It is switching directors this time, so it is now by Destin Daniel Cretton of Shang-Chi fame, if everybody remembers that movie. I know the MCU doesn't. But it also stars all of our favorite people: Tom Holland, Zendaya, Florence Pugh makes a little bit of an appearance. Everybody's in this movie. We're all back. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Brand New Day. We've got some great guests here. Roberto, let's start with you. Tell me about your thoughts for Brand New Day.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So there was a little lag there. I really liked it. I really liked it. I grew up with Spider-Man, so this was just such a treat. It's not perfect by any means, but man, this was like one of the, at least in my personal opinion, one of the stronger Spider-Man films I've seen. Not everything works. I feel like its screenplay's a bit overstuffed, some iffy visual effects, and not all the, I guess, jokes in the movie really landed. But what really works here is that it's finally a Peter Parker story again. And Tom Holland is just so fantastic, and the film's overall emotional core is just so strong. It feels like a fresh start to Spider-Man that we really needed, like right after No Way Home.
Okay. Matthew, what about you?
Yeah, I'm in much the same boat. I really liked it. I think it's actually probably the strongest of the four Tom Holland individual Spider-Man movies, personally. I think it's... So my sort of problem with No Way Home was that, and to be clear, I love that movie, just to be clear, but it very much feels like putting all your toys in a bag and shaking it up. And this movie has that same thing where it's got tons of crossover, tons of like comic booky stuff, but literally all of it serves the story and all of it serves the emotional core of the story. So it's a lot more thoughtful. It's a lot better photographed than basically any other ones had been. Sorry, Mr. Webb, but like, holy crap, they know how to point a camera in this movie. It's amazing. And at the moment, like, my big thing is having this movie and the Avengers Doomsday trailer come out at the same time. Like, I can't believe they're coming from the same studio. It's absolutely bonkers to me. So yeah, this is, for the record, the second largest opening weekend of all time, and very, very deservedly so. I think it's great. I think more to the point, I think everyone is great in it. Tom Holland in particular has had two great movies back to back, and I think this might be the better performance of the two. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but Zendaya as well is fantastic. And so is, without any spoilers, so is Sadie Sink. I think she's fantastic in this movie. So yeah, it's wonderful all around. Yes, I loved it.
Nice. And Sean, who we all know hates movies, so I'm really excited to see.
I hate movies, and I hate this movie. I thought it was garbage. I thought it looked terrible. I thought all of the emotional beats were hokey. I really did not enjoy this movie. The internet would tell you that I'm a rage baiter, but I just truly did not like this movie at all. There were things that I liked about it. I really liked the stuff between Spidey and Punisher. I thought that dynamic was really good and really interesting. And I really liked Liza Colon-Zayas from The Bear. I thought she was the highlight of the new additions to the cast. But I was really disappointed by a lot of things, many of which are spoilery. I have to vehemently disagree on Sadie Sink. I thought Sadie Sink was terrible in this. But I will say, to the credit of Tom Holland, I think he does the most that he can with what he is given. And, he's still good in this. But, yeah, I did not like this very much. Not one bit.
True to himself, as always, Sean. I appreciate your hot takes, and we are definitely going to be talking about this a lot more deeply for sure. For my part, I really liked it. I definitely didn't love it. I think that it does have some scripting issues. I think it has some structural issues. I think the MCU-ness of it all definitely rears its ugly head in this one as well. I kind of pointed out in my review that while this one is better than any or many of the other attempts since Endgame, I am of the belief that the MCU is incapable of making anything that is not completely creatively bankrupt. And this one comes close, but not because of the MCU. I think it comes close because Cretton really actually injects his own voice into this film and tries to really give his own take on Spider-Man. And I think a lot of that stuff really works. I found most of the groundedness and the retiring of the Mr. Stark whiny Tom Holland, which just gets grating to me over time. Not in the moment. So when you watch him, I own No Way Home. I'm a big fan of that movie. But it's kind of one of those, like, I have purposefully never revisited it because I know as soon as I do, everything wrong with that movie is going to be infinitely more glaring, and I just want to sit in the moment of the fan service that it gave me. But I do enjoy the Tom Holland has to grow up. Tom Holland's a 30-year-old man playing a child, right? And so at some point he's gonna have to become a man. And I think this one does it pretty well. I think if you're gonna borrow anything, borrowing from the original Raimi trilogy is probably the best source that you can pull from rather than kind of any other iterations. So overall, I think it has a lot of issues, but I'd be lying if I said that some of that emotional stuff actually worked for me. I'd be lying if I said it didn't work for me, because there were definitely a couple of moments that really, really got to me. So with that in mind, as we kind of just give our overall thoughts, I want to kind of level set and just see where everybody is with Spider-Man in general. How, like, your relationship to him, your relationship to his movies. So Sean, since you're the most down on this version, so give me your thoughts on just how Spider-Man has kind of been a part of your life and the good, the bad, the ugly, and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I was 2 when the original came out, so I was a very obsessed, youngling during the days of the Raimi trilogy. I
always forget. Every time somebody makes a statement like that, I always forget that I am definitely the old man in these conversations. It hurts,
I'm sorry.
my soul so much.
Did you say you were 2 when Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out in 2002?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just about to become the embodiment of that Matt Damon aging in place gif.
I'll do you one better. I wasn't even born when it came out.
Oh my god.
Okay, now I'm just
right.
I'm the guy who crumbles into dust at the end of Raiders.
Matt, you know what? You and I, we're gonna split off. We're gonna have our own conversation. We're gonna let these children talk about Spider-Man.
Leave me alone, Sean. I really beg of you.
Because just for the record, I don't know how old you were, man, but I was 2002. I was 22. So, yeah.
I was graduating high school, so my heart.
Yeah. So I'm the old man in the chat. Great, awesome.
But so, like, I grew up with the Raimi movies. I am known for having very hot takes on Spider-Man movies, though. I will say, I adore. I mean, my favorite of any of the Spider-Man movies is Raimi's Spider-Man 2, because that's obviously the highest bar set. I really like The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I really don't like Across the Spider-Verse, and I really don't like Brand New Day. So I'm known for having very hot takes on Spider-Man movies.
Sorry to interrupt. Small clarification. You really don't like Across the Spider-Verse, or you really don't like
Right.
Into the Spider-Verse?
No, I really don't like Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay, that's fine. I'm no judgment. I'm actually just wanted for clarity. It's fine.
There is judgment.
So, like, I am known for being a controversial person when it comes to Spider-Man. But this one, I don't know. I think it's the worst of pretty much any of the Spider-Man movies. I think it might be slightly better than Raimi 3. I think they're neck and neck for the bottom. But yeah, I'm not a fan of this movie. I am a fan of Spider-Man, but I'm known for having hot take.
Yeah, that Spider-Man 3 amazing as Spider-Man 2. That's gonna come around at the end of this podcast. We're gonna have some words. All right. Roberto, tell me about your relationship with Spider-Man.
Yeah, similar to Sean, I mainly grew up with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man because those came out when I had to be like 8, right? Probably no, that wouldn't. I don't know. I'm not gonna do math right now, but when I grew up, we had the trilogy, the Sam Raimi trilogy. So I grew up. My favorite superheroes were Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk, and I watched those like on repeat a lot. Spider-Man. I don't know. Whenever I think about him, I just think about my childhood. So I guess for me, Spider-Man just represents growing up for me. So I will always, and I mean always, have a soft spot for Spider-Man in my heart. I love that superhero so much. So yeah.
Okay. Matt.
Well, I am apparently the old man in the group. I have been reading Spider-Man comics since I was probably about 8, which would have been 1988, 89. I grew up with the 90s cartoons. I stood in line for Spider-Man 1 in 2001, whatever year it was. So yeah, I've loved Spider-Man my entire life. I think that Spider-Man 2, Raimi's Spider-Man 2, is probably the second best superhero movie ever made. Second only to Into the Spider-Verse. So most notably not Across the Spider-Verse. That's why I was asking, because I'm pretty lukewarm on that one. I think that the Amazing Spider-Man movies are a mixed bag at best. I think I really don't like the second one, but I think that Andrew Garfield is great in them. Mm-hmm. And I think that Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man who has had a couple of good movies and now finally a really good one, basically. And I think that's a lot to do with Tom Holland growing up in real life a little bit. I think it's a lot to do with Destin Daniel Cretton. But yeah, I love Spider-Man. There's a reason he's Marvel's most popular superhero. I think we all forget, maybe not Derek and I, but like we all forget that there was a time when Marvel's only really popular properties were X-Men and Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Like there was a time when Iron Man was on the C list. There was a time when Cap was on the C or maybe B list if you were like a huge nerd about it. And I think that he's a deep well for stories, and that we've mostly gotten good ones, and we've at least gotten good performances generally, even when the movies are bad. So yeah, I love Spider-Man. I always have, because he's just the most relatable hero. He's just a guy. He has powers, but he's just a guy. He's constantly making tough choices and compromises, and in ways that other heroes don't. And
we've all been bitten by radioactive spiders before in our lives.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you guys not had that?
The most relatable part about him.
Yeah, geez.
Well,
it's not a complex family life, but like
I was going to say, I haven't been bitten by a radioactive spider, but I am also a genius, so it's kind of like same thing.
Yeah.
Totally relatable to being a genius in science.
Yeah.
So for my part, like Spider-Man is such a strange character for me because he's been ubiquitous in my entire life. Like I can't remember a time where there wasn't a Spider-Man in some version, whether it was cartoon, whether it was new movie series. Like he's just been in my life this entire time. But I've never propped him up as being one of my personal favorite heroes, despite me really enjoying almost everything that's come out from Spider-Man. We've had 11 individual movies plus multiple appearances across all kinds of different studios, and every single one of his villains has an anti-hero movie. Like it's kind of insane how much they've run that well for the Spider-Man and Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery. So for me, I find Spider-Man to be a really fun time, but not something that like I was actually trying to find a t-shirt for like a Spider-Man t-shirt to wear on this podcast and realized I don't have one. And I have all kinds of other things and I just don't have one. I don't have like Spider-Man memorabilia. So it's kind of a strange relationship where like I will always be seated for a Spider-Man movie, but I won't necessarily go out of my way to watch and consume all things Spider-Man outside of the cinematic experience. So with that in mind, let's, now that we've kind of set our base, we know where we stand on the movie. This is your spoiler warning. So we're going to let the freak flag fly and just go for it. So we will no longer be cautious about what we're talking about. So as we start to get into things we liked, things we didn't like, what worked, what didn't, we're not going to spare anybody's feelings. So if you don't know, or you've managed to avoid the internet for, I don't know, 3 days now, one, more power to you. You're living a better life than most of us. And then two, this is not your time. So pause, go watch the movie, and then you can come back to here. You think they're gone? You think they're gone?
I think so.
No,
Okay.
they're never gone. They're never gone. What are you talking about?
They're always watching.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this a little bit more. So I know we kind of gave our general thoughts. Now we can kind of get into some specifics. So let's kind of talk about the characters of Brand New Day. Let's get into kind of the characters and performances. So for me, I think Tom Holland, this is the best Tom Holland has been in his run. He really taps into, I think, a little bit more of that emotionality. I think the movie does a really good job in stripping Spider-Man down to himself rather than having him be a part of somebody else's story, which I think has been the struggle with a lot of the other previous ones. Even though I find those ones to be a lot of fun, I think Homecoming is probably the closest you'll get to him being a Spider-Man movie. But I think Far From Home and No Way Home really aren't his movies. Far From Home is a Mysterio movie paired with an Iron Man movie. And then No Way Home is just him being sad about Iron Man being gone, and then it's all the other Spider-Man, and then it's all the villains that you can bring in. It's it's not really his movie. And this one, while I think when it starts to get into Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, I think once it starts to do that, I think that's when it removes Spidey from the story and injects somebody else. And while I think Sadie Sink is really good in that, I actually kind of wish they shortened that down a little bit. And I wish they could, because I think the movie really thrives when it's just focused on Tom Holland and it's him being Spider-Man, being alone, fighting the worst demon, his strongest villain, which is depression. Had no idea that was the villain of the story, but it is. So yeah, I really like Tom Holland here. I really like some of the things that Cretin does. I like Sadie Sink far more than Sean does. I think she does a great job. But I actually would have liked to have seen less of her. And then the last thing I'll say, and then I'll move on and we'll kind of open up the discussion here. Last thing I'll say is I don't mind a lot of the inclusions. I think him and John Bernthal are hilarious, and I would watch a buddy cop of them all day long. I think their banter is just, I love the ideological split between the two. And I think he has more chemistry with Peter Parker than he does with Matt Murdock. So I really like that dynamic. I understand why the Hulk is here, but I've got a lot of issues with the Hulk and how he appears and what they do with him. And it really, as you try to make your connective tissue the primary thing of all of your movies, you start to lose the individual stories and you start to lose some of that continuity. And I those things really frustrated me. And then last part of this, sorry, I'm talking too much, but last part of this, the idea of the why am I blanking on the organization's name? The
Damage Control.
Damage Control. Thank you. Marvel Ice. I do not understand, and they don't ever address this. I do not understand how Spider-Man does not know that this is a bad organization. 90% of all superheroes live in New York, and all of them know that Damage Control is not a good thing. They didn't forget that he was Spider-Man. They just don't know that he's Peter Parker. So you mean to tell me there's not a single hero that has ever interacted with Damage Control that didn't think to tell Spider-Man, hey man, maybe Damage Control isn't a good partner to have. That just frustrated the hell out of me. But anyways, that's totally beside the point. Okay, opening it up, dig in. What worked, what didn't, what you liked, what you didn't like.
Yeah, so I almost interrupted you when you were talking about how much of a Spider-Man movie this was until you acknowledged that it turns into a Jean Grey movie halfway through. Yeah. And that's, I think, where this movie really lost me. Like, I was vibing with the first half or so. It wasn't my favorite because I did think that some of the emotional beats were a little off. And a lot of the visuals were very off in the first half for me. But when it turns into we are setting up X-Men in the MCU, it pissed me off. I got so mad that like we're setting up Jean Grey and Bill Metzger, who's like one of the like overarching X-Men baddies in terms of like the political angle in X-Men. And I love Tremel Tillman. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm big fan of his, but like, why are we putting him in this role that is a nothing role and B pretty much just MCU's Milicic? Like he's basically playing the same character he played in Severance, and I'm like, really? Like, can't we give him something interesting to do? But yeah, no. When it turned into just like we're setting up X-Men, that's when it completely lost me. Like, I got so mad in that theater that I just was very visibly unhappy, I think, because it's not a Spider-Man movie at that point. Like I feel like I agree with you that No Way Home was not really Tom Holland's movie. I can see your argument about Far From Home being more Mysterio's movie than Spider-Man's, but this one, like, it just felt like, why are we having a Spider-Man movie without a Spider-Man villain? Like, Jean Grey is not really a character in the Spider-Man comics. Like, why? What's the point? Fan service and setting up the future of a canon. And that feels like really upsetting to me. Like, why are we worried about the future of the franchise more than we are this? Why can't we just integrate the X-Men characters through an X-Men movie instead of shoehorning them into our Spider-Man movie? I don't know.
I'm going to chime in and say that I disagree. I don't disagree with everything you're saying, just to be clear. I think there's valid criticism. I think that honestly, like, at this point, the movies are always going to have something shoehorned into them. Like, I just don't think that's the thing we're going to ever get away from anymore. And to be fair, I think that's honestly probably the most comic book thing about them. You know, like, every comic book is like this. So it doesn't really bother me in the same way you're describing. So just to get that out of the way.
That's fair.
But I would say, regardless of whether it's Jean Grey, I don't think it needs to be Jean Grey, just to be clear. But I think including an anti-hero character who's going through the same, like, I am sad and suffering because of my choices and background stuff that Peter Parker goes through, and then having them like come to a conclusion together about how to proceed into the future, about how I can't actually do this alone, I think is incredibly resonant. And if anything, the things that bother me about this movie aren't that it's Jean Grey or that it's setting up the X-Men. It's that from about 30 seconds in, I was like, oh, so this is going to be the villain in the first half is going to be an anti-hero in the second half, and the guy who seems good in the first half is going to be the actual villain in the back. Like, those are the tropes that bothered me. Like, it's
a little too telling too. It's a little it plays its hand way too hard. Yeah, and like, to be fair, I think the emotional stuff, for me at least, is executed well enough that it's not a deal breaker, like, by any stretch of the imagination. But like, if you can't clock, if you watch a lot of movies or even a medium amount of movies and you can't clock the template
from about the first 5 minutes, then I think you probably need to watch more movies.
Yeah. I will say about the climax where she like meets Aunt May in the dream, or whatever you would call it. I know it's not a dream, but I don't know how to verbalize that otherwise. But
it's a memory. It's a memory.
Memory. Yeah. Where she's like seeing the memory with Aunt May. I thought that was like so rushed. It was like she was flipping a switch of like the Jean Grey's arc in this is incredibly rushed. Like she in the beginning is the villain, like you said, and then she turns into the anti-hero, and then all of a sudden she flips a switch. And I'm like, that's too quick. Like you have a 2.5 hour movie and you're like having her change in one scene. Like
yeah, I think that's part of the sorry. I'll let you go ahead.
I feel like she mostly changes after Peter sacrifices himself for her, no? I mean, that feels like the Aunt May scene felt like the start of a change, but I think it's after Peter sacrifices himself is when she really changes. I thought.
I mean, I suppose
it didn't feel rushed at all to me personally.
I was just going to say, I think it's the whole sequence, not just that one scene. Mm-hmm. Although, honestly, if Aunt May showed up and told me to like be true to myself, I'd be like, yeah, man. I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll do anything Marissa Tomei tells me to.
Yeah, exactly. But I was going to say, I think it works because I think it's pretty clear personally, and maybe this is just jaded by, again, like 40 years of comic book reading. But like Jean doesn't want to be the villain. She's just angry. And that one scene is what lets her let go of that anger. Like
I love that.
Don't do this. Don't do this. Yeah. You're angry. Let go of the anger. Be yourself. Oh, right. I should be myself. I'm not this person. That makes sense to me. I sort of get that it feels rushed.
I do think there's a better way to do that because I think that core of their relationship, because I think that's something that's so enduring about Spidey is right. Like Spidey just has a way of the Punisher is a good example, right? Because the Punisher has a very similar relationship and an ideological difference between him and Daredevil and him and Spidey. But the only one that can actually get through to him in a way that actually makes him kind of sit back and change and let go of some of that anger is Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is so inherently good and so inherently kind and just wants to help people that it's almost impossible to not be won over by the things that he's trying to do. And so I think pitting somebody like Jean Grey, who's also struggling, and then, having them share a very similar emotional state, emotional experience, I think there is something there narratively that can really work. I do think they fumble the bag slightly and it doesn't land as hard, but it wasn't enough to detract me as much as it does for you, Sean.
So I will say, I like the comparison between Jean Grey's arc and Punisher's arc, because I think Punisher's arc of having him accidentally shoot Spider-Man and then that being the realization, that makes more sense than just the pep talk from Aunt May. And the reason why I want to cite this, I want to go back to the original Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds, and there's the scene at the end with Ryan Reynolds and Cyclops where Cyclops is like trying to give him the speech of why not to kill Ajax at the end, and then Deadpool just gets bored and shoots him. Like that, this scene is the exact type of scene that it was making fun of. Like it is very much we're going to give a pep talk, and it's going to be the one scene that makes this villain realize that they're in the wrong and killing is bad and all that. And then it is one of the tropiest tropes in a tropey movie, and it annoyed me.
I mean, it's a trope, but I mean, at least for me, it works. Just because it's a trope doesn't automatically make it, a bad
right.
thing.
And I don't disagree with that. Like, just because it's a trope doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't work. But this one really got on my nerves and felt like manufactured.
Yeah, I hear that. Like, I do agree with you. I kind of wish there was more of a traditional Spider-Man villain in this, because adding Jean Grey, at least to you, it doesn't work. I'm sure to a lot of people won't work either. But for me, I really loved it because they, like we said earlier, they kind of mirror each other. Peter, he's forgotten by everyone. Jean, she cannot forget everything. Peter hides his identity. She sees everyone's true identity. he is learning to accept himself, but while she learns to accept reality, and Peter wins through sacrifice, she changes because someone sacrificed for her. I think that's just very beautiful the way these two characters mirror each other, and that's why I didn't really hate the fact that she was kind of the villain or like anti-villain, because it just works so incredibly well because they both have like great arcs and they share it like beautifully.
I would just say too that like, and I don't want to harp on this any more than we have to, but just two things. One is that it's not just a pep talk. She's in Peter's memory and she's in Peter's place in that memory. Like presumably, I don't think it's a big leap to say that she's experiencing similar emotions in real life and then also taking on his emotions in that scene as well. Like she's Peter in that scene, right? So she's experiencing the full weight of it. It's not just be good. It's like it's all of that layered together.
I would also, just to jump in, I would agree with you too, because I think like Roberto said, there's a mirroring there, and that's why they're able to swap characters, but they're also their experience of loneliness and loss are almost identical.
And anger.
So,
and
anger, right? And so so her switching places in a memory of experiencing somebody that is clearly close to him that he has lost. I think that's a big enough trigger based on the state of emotion that they're both in to have her kind of like relinquish some of that anger. Now, previously, I think the fact that she kills a man in the middle of the street is a little I think it makes that leap a little bit harder, but it's okay. But
me too.
No one is perfect, Derek. Come on.
If I can make a counterpoint, no.
He got us. Honestly, he caught us. Our argument just collapsed.
Yeah. Anyway, the other thing
your second part. Yeah, sorry.
The other thing I wanted to say is just that like I hear what you're saying, that you wish that there was a more traditional Spider-Man villain in the movie. However, I would counter that with depression and self-sacrifice are their traditional Spider-Man villains. So, and this movie is replete with that. So
it's your villain.
Yeah.
I will accept that. I will accept that argument.
Yeah.
Now, are we all okay with the power of friendship being the only thing that can defeat evil? Or are we where do we fall on the power of friendship?
I think that is just so simple. I do love it because it resonates. It just resonates with like a lot of people. So I mean, it worked in Thunderbolts, and I think it worked here.
Yeah,
I think like honestly,
with
it's a further reminder that being in that headspace like is okay. Like you're never truly alone, And I think like with Jean Grey, she realized like he's also like been through shit, and like look how he turned out. And so I think that's always an important reminder that like when like a loved one dies, everybody has had a loved one die. You're never truly alone. So like it's okay to like feel anger,
Mm-hmm.
I also like think that message always works personally. I mean, okay, not always. Sometimes it's ham-handed. But I think that generally speaking, and I say this as the old man of the group, like we do have to remember these are movies for kids, and like they need to be super approachable. And honestly, like community, friendship, and love are the things that defeat most of the things in our lives. So yeah, like I can't relate to swinging from building tops, but I can relate to leaning on my friends to get through tough times. And that's what these movies are ultimately about. Mm-hmm. So I've seen people online call it pretty basic, and I don't disagree that it is. I just don't think that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can understand that. I will say also, you bring up Thunderbolts, and something I was very much thinking while I was watching this movie was, wow, Jean Grey is basically Sentry. That was Louis character. It was like Jean Grey is basically Sentry.
I mean, we talked about the template, like the template.
Even down to Spidey having to kind of like semi-recruit reluctant heroes that can't get along. The whole battle between him and Frank Castle and the Hulk is like literally all the Thunderbolts meeting for the first time and then all trying to fight each other until they realize they have to escape together. It's like the blueprint is the same. I would argue, though, that if you're going to borrow from a post-Endgame MCU movie, that's probably the best blueprint that you can borrow from because I just really don't like a lot of the MCU stuff that's come out since then. And Thunderbolts was the first one where I was like, oh, you can make pretty good movies. You're just choosing not to. Got it. Okay. I guess that one made me feel. But yeah, we'll keep digging into this a little bit more. But I do want to say I agree with the power of friendship. I think, yes, it's basic. Yes, it's trite. Yes, it's hokey. It's whatever name you want to give it. But like, we are living in an increasingly isolated digital age in which there is no connection. Everybody's isolated. We're all alone, no matter how much we're on the internet. And a reminder of how important it is to not have to shoulder the weight of the world on yourself, and being able to reach out and connect with your friends. I think that emotional core in this particular movie, I think it's actually really resonant, and those things actually moved me every time Spider-Man really conveys his loneliness, conveys his hurt, whether it's through the mutations of his anger, whether it's through there's that great scene where he watches Zendaya kiss her new boyfriend, and then he just swings through the city with tears in his eyes, like, and that, to me, that's just one of those, like, this man just wants someone. Like, he just wants someone in his life, and he doesn't have it. And so he's throwing himself into his work, and that's not good enough. And I think we all kind of fall victim to that. So I think there's a universal application there, particularly in the world that we live in. And I think it's really resonant. I know that emotional core of Brand New Day really, really got me. So
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and I mean, the movie goes out of its way to state it. Like, he literally at one point says, like, I've been trying to do this alone. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm fine with that.
How
Like,
unsubtle it is.
yeah, I mean, so here's the thing. Like, you're not wrong. It's a very unsubtle movie. I would argue we live in unsubtle times. So, like, it's fine. Like, if we are, like, we need that maybe. Like, some things need to be hammered home pretty hard. And I think that this is maybe one of them for today. And that's fine.
Yeah. Any other pieces you guys want to highlight? Good, bad, ugly?
I was surprised to. This is a real quick weird thing, but like, this is a kids movie, but there is a lot of cussing in this movie. Like, that is supposed to be for kids. Like, any scene Punisher's in, I'm like, oh my god. Yeah. I wonder how parents feel watching this.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job in cutting out the F-bombs, but
yeah.
I'm going to say that I think that most parents who have 13-year-olds probably understand that their kids know what those words are.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I don't know. I think Roberto is just being a Bible thumper right now, being like, get my raunchiness out of my superhero
yes,
movie.
I famously hate cussing and fun. So yeah, sorry.
He hates cussing and fun.
Yeah, but at least I like movies, so I have you beat there.
Something I wanted to ask about is, what do you guys think of the web slinging scenes? Because I thought they were atrocious. I've seen a lot of comparisons online saying that they look like Spider-Man PS5, which I can agree with, but that to me looks good on a PS5 on a flat screen TV, but not on a Dolby screen. Like, it looked terrible to me.
I actually liked it. Point of view scenes, I liked it quite a bit. I don't, to be honest, like, when I think about it, I don't really see anything like there's nothing for me there to like not like. It's like when I think about it.
I think it was fine, and I think that very generally speaking, that's kind of the best we can hope for outside of something animated for Spider-Man. I think the movie, as much as I don't really like them, I think the movies that have gotten Spider-Man's movement in general the best are the Amazing movies. And I think that this comes pretty close, but I think it's also accentuated by the fact that Cretin and company seem to remember that cameras can move and be a dynamic part of scene. And I think that, like, even if it's not great, I think that the photography of it is. So I think it's probably the best Tom Holland's have been.
I'm gonna be honest, and I can't even believe I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna zag, and I'm actually gonna side with Sean. I hate movies. I found most of the actual Spider-Man visuals whenever they have to obviously you can't have him swing through the city. It's just not possible. So you've got to digitalize it. You got to put it in CGI. I thought the first 30 minutes looked horrendous. I thought the montage looks just awful. And I agree. I remember forcibly telling myself they're just doing the video game and you're gonna have to be okay with that. And I really wasn't. So I really do not like the visuals. And some of that again is, and I hate to keep bringing this up, but some of it is just the larger MCU picture where I feel like they hit an endpoint of how far they were willing to actually invest in technology and make things look good. And they just said, great, this is as good as it's ever going to get. And we are never going to get better. And then every new entry just gets like regressively worse and worse and worse. And then you watch the Raimi Spider-Mans and yeah, listen, they're not incredible, but like they look better. They genuinely look better in the swinging. And while I agree, Matt, that the dynamics of the camera, yes, Cretton is much more interested in moving the camera with his hero rather than stagnating it. And I think that does breathe some life in some of that, but I don't think it looks very good. I think a lot of that CGI looks pretty bad.
And I would
only counter that I don't think they've gotten to a point where they're like, this is as good as the technology will ever be. I think they've gotten to a point of this is as much time and money as we're willing to spend on it.
Yes.
Which I think is a subtle but important distinction.
Because they can do better. They're just choosing not to. Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's one scene that looks really good, and that's the hand scene at the end. But that's because it's Wuxia inspired, which is what Destin Daniel Cretton was very intrigued in exploring in Shang-Chi. So, but like for me, like I was stunned how bad this looked to me because I think Shang-Chi is like one of the best looking MCU movies, period. Like, I think that movie looks great. There's some CGI issues in the third act of Shang-Chi. Yeah. Like when
third
it
act
becomes
is
like
in Shang-Chi anyway, but yes, I agree.
Right.
I was actually going to say that my sorry, go ahead.
But like I think like the first 2/3 of Shang-Chi are a beautiful movie, beautiful looking movie. So for this one to be as ugly as it looked to me was shocking. And Destin Daniel Cretton was one of the key forces behind Wonder Man, which rest in peace because that shouldn't have been unfairly canceled. But Wonder Man, I think, is one of the most emotionally resonant MCU projects in a long time and one of the most emotionally complex MCU projects in a long time. And so for this one to be so formulaic and bare bones, like I get that it resonated with people who weren't me, but I thought that like for it to be as like bare bones as this is when you're working with like really nuanced material like Wonder Man, like I was just like, how are these the same people? like these feel like completely like this feels like a completely different person doing this than the other two MCU projects he'd done.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say on that, I think the reason it stands out to me more than it, because I'm actually okay with signing on to a hyper stylized version, like a video game version of Spider-Man in live action. I actually don't mind that because if that's the decision that you choose to make, it's just a matter of whether or not I accept that, yeah, your Spider-Man is going to be a video game. And if I'm on board with that, then actually the visuals are fine. I think where it really becomes glaring is Cretton can't make up, well, not can't, but the movie overall has a tonal imbalance of being this hyper stylized CGI web slinger to this really grounded, gritty, gray New York. And when you do that, yes, this grittiness looks great, but it also highlights any of the flaws that you have in your bright, vibrant video game visuals, and it kind of clashes. And so it's almost like you'd want him to just pick one or the other, either make all of it gritty or all of it vibrant. And that's actually, I think, why Shang-Chi works, because Shang-Chi, there's no groundedness in San Francisco, anywhere in Shang-Chi. Like Shang-Chi feels like Big Hero 6 in the way that like the San Francisco is kind of portrayed. But he does that throughout the entire movie. It's all fantastical. It's all out there. It's all a real city, but not a real city at the same time. And I think when you do that, I can just buy into the wuxia style and I can buy into the hyper stylized visuals versus trying to split the screen and be like, here's a gritty, grounded shot of New York. And then also here's a PS5 version of Spider-Man. And I think that tone of visual just really clashes pretty hard for me, at least.
Fair enough. It didn't for me.
I
think it does. I think it does a pretty good job of separating the Spider-Man stuff from the Peter Parker stuff, and I think it does a very good job of. So if we're going to finish off on anything, I would say that like it is very refreshing that this film is mostly real people in real places.
Yes.
We're talking about street level Spider-Man, but then we have Jean Grey, the mutant. We have Hulk. And we have somehow the hand returned. Like
they never left. They never left.
I mean, they did. They were destroyed in the Defenders.
No.
But also,
there's always someone left over.
Yeah, we also I do not to hammer this too hard because I do want to play this game, but the Hulk is one of my biggest issues with this movie. I hate everything they did with him. This idea that in order for us to get him to be Rage Hulk, we basically have to undo everything we knew about Hulk from the last time that we saw him. And we're not going to explain why. We're not going to explain how. But we also need to cram the inhibitors in because we're going to need that in the future for damage control to basically create Sentinels. Like, it just... what? Like, this is not... I get that you need him to have the inhibitor conversation, but I feel like he could have done that in the version that we left him off in. And the only reason it exists in this movie is so that they can give us Smash Hulk and have Spider-Man fight Smash Hulk. That's it. That's the only reason it exists. And that really bothered me. And again, it's just that MCU connective tissue rearing its ugly head into anything. Roberto, did that bother you at all or no?
It did a bit. My main issue is that it just seems like they don't really know what to do with the Hulk as a character right now. But I cannot lie. The kid in me was really excited to watch Spider-Man fight the Rage Hulk. Come on, at least we can admit it's cool to see him.
That's true. That is true. It is fun to watch Spider-Man uppercut the Hulk.
Like, yeah, but no, I do kind of agree. I mean, it just. I feel like if you kind of removed him from the movie, a lot just wouldn't really change, honestly. And they undid like you said, to reiterate your point, they basically undid a lot. But I wasn't too bothered by it. But yeah,
I wasn't bothered by it at all, honestly. Because to be clear, this is a very comic booky thing. But if it wasn't the Hulk, it would have been somebody else, which is fine. Like Peter Parker goes and visits Kurt Connors in Spider-Man 1. Nobody gives a shit. Like it's the whole thing, right? Like it would have been somebody else that he talked to, some other smart MCU person. So I'm fine with that. I also don't necessarily think that they undid anything about the Hulk because the whole thing with the Hulk is that when he transitions with control, he's one character, and when he transitions without control or due to extreme emotional distress, he's another. And we get both of those in this movie. And I think that there's a level of like comic bookiness again that we're just never going to get away from, and it's not going to work for everyone. But like that part of it didn't not work for. That's awkward, but it did not work for me because like I think the transitions are fairly distinct, and I think also it stands to reason that like Jean Grey mind controlling him would be a thing that breaks him enough to go back to being Savage Hulk.
But we've already like seen the Hulk in like mind control like before, you know. It's like.
Yeah, in Age of Ultron, he's in reasonable amount of control, and then Scarlet Witch does a thing to his brain, and he loses control entirely. It's the same. It's a bit more stark because we've just seen smart, rational Hulk in the last thing we saw him in, but it's the same arc. It's the same difference.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I think this might be the first time I actually agree with you. I didn't hate Hulk. I just thought it was a throwaway cameo. For the most part, for like what you said, like just to have him fight Spider-Man. Yeah, it was kind of a throwaway.
Once again,
to a certain
cool.
I was going to say, to a certain extent, you're going to get that because that is cool. That is very cool. Like
it is cool, but yes, I had some issues. At least Florence Pugh will always be a welcomed addition, no matter what she's doing. Even her just sitting in her office bath talking shit to Peter Parker. I love her so much with my whole heart. She is just, there is never a time where she is not welcomed on screen for me ever. Okay, so
I do also. I just want to finish up by saying, sorry, I'm going on and on and on about
you're
this.
Good.
I do want to just say that he would go to Bruce like
Yes.
someone else in a different movie. And Bruce doesn't remember him, but he remembers Bruce. Like, he remembers that Bruce Banner is the smart guy. Like, and Bruce Banner's in the city. Why wouldn't he go talk to the smartest guy he knows? Right?
Yeah.
So, like,
real quick, I want to be clear. I don't mind him talking to. There's nobody else he would have talked to anyway. So I don't mind him talking to Bruce. I don't even mind Bruce Banner being in the movie. I do mind that he's not in the original form that we saw him in when we left him. And the reason he's not is because, again, it's the whole idea that, like, he created the best of both worlds. He created the Professor Hulk, right? Because that was the best way. He doesn't need any additional science to fix it. Like, he can be in the Hulk body and have the Bruce Banner mind, and that's the best melding of the two. And I think if we just met him that way and he was just living his life like that, I honestly think everything else with him becoming the Rage Hulk, that would have probably worked a little bit better. But this idea that, like, no, we have to bring him back to Bruce Banner so that we can introduce the inhibitor, so that we know the inhibitor is going to break, and then we know that he's going to become Rage Hulk. It's just like, you just didn't actually need to do all of that. That's where my real beef comes in. If that clarifies it a little bit more.
It does. I would just also say that at least part of that happens in She-Hulk too. So
yeah, that's true.
and the end of Shang-Chi when he appears in Bruce Banner form with an inhibitor on and a broken arm.
Yeah,
so
that's right. I guess to I don't remember who said it, but you're right. They actually, I think Roberto, you said it. Like, it's clear they just don't know what to do with the Hulk. Like, they have this lovable character that everyone loves, and they have never nailed how to put him on screen. Like, they just can't. They get close.
I mean, shade Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
Do not disrespect Lou Ferrigno here.
No, we need to bring him back. That's the issue.
it's a different discussion, but the problem is that they just can't use him the way they want to because of the whole licensing BS, right? Like, he can only ever be a supporting character in other people's movies, which is fine. I'm fine with that. But, like, at some point, it needs to be his. It's never going to be his story, no matter what happens. Right. So
Oh wait, is that why we haven't really gotten like a singular movie?
Yeah, Universal still owns the rights.
Oh,
yeah, Marvel licensed Hulk to Universal like 25, 30 years ago, and they bought back the character, but only it's kind of like it's complicated like the Spider-Man deal is with Sony, where, like, they can use him, but he can't headline a movie because then Universal would have to distribute it. So they can't business do that.
That's a whole. We could literally do a whole podcast on superhero rights because it is so fascinating. But we won't do that here. Okay, real quick, we're gonna run through final thoughts, and then we're gonna play this game real quick. So, Roberto, give me your final thoughts on Brand New Day.
No, final thoughts. I mean, it's basically the same as like when I'm, my opening thoughts. It's basically the same. I really like the movie. I like how it's a more Peter Parker-centered story on grief, depression, and anger, and how it's a beautiful mirror to the quote-unquote villain. This is really one of the stronger Spider-Man stories, and it's a much-needed addition to the MCU, and it's a promising addition, really.
Okay. Matthew?
Yeah, movie good. That's my final thought. Movie good.
Very elegant. Very elegant.
Yeah. And also, like, it's the first time in a while where I was sort of glad to sit through the credits. I thought this is like the dumbest, nerdiest, most pedantic thing I'm going to say on this whole podcast, but I really loved the end credit sequence, which is just shots of people existing in New York. Like, not the post credits. That was nothing.
The post credits, and I was like, oh.
No, the post credits is nothing. Like, it's like, as a comic book nerd, I know. As a comic book nerd, I know that the post credits is definitely something, and I know what it is. It's fine, but the main credit sequence, which is literally just shots of New York existing, ostensibly because Spider-Man has saved New York, I thought was great, and so you should sit through the credits anyway out of respect. But also, this one is a great one, so you should watch them.
Sure, Sean.
My final thoughts are movie bad. Go see I Want Your Sex instead, because indie movies need support too. So go see I Want Your Sex.
It's a great movie. Okay, cool. So for me, I think they're the emotional the emotional core of Brand New Day for me is undeniable. And even as we kind of unpack some of those things, I think even as some of those things that bother me are a little bit more glaring as we discuss them, some of them we've kind of smoothed over. I do think that there's a very resonant emotional core. It might be basic, it might be simple, but this idea that like, yeah, man, we all just need somebody to love, and we need somebody to love us, and we just can't be alone. And it doesn't matter how many powers you have. It doesn't matter how much you've done. Like, you need a friend. Like you just need a friend. And I think that's really beautiful. And even though we did that in Thunderbolts, like it's a message we need now. And to Matt's point, like we live in very unsubtle times and we need unsubtle messaging sometimes. And I walked away feeling like, yeah, I should probably be good about connecting with people. And I should probably not be so isolated. And I don't know if that's what you're supposed to get from a Spider-Man movie, but I left the theater with that, and it still bounced around in my brain. And so, to me, I feel like that's probably a success. Okay, so let's play this game real quick. We're actually going to do this collectively. So the three of you are going to have to work together, and it's going to be really fun because I think you're all going to have completely wildly different ideas of how to do this. But you have to come together, and you have to come together quickly. So here's what we are going to do. We are actually going to blind rank the Spider-Man movies, including Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. So we are going to blind rank them. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm just going to randomly give you one and then put them anywhere 1 to 11. I'll track where we're at and we'll go from there. So let's start with Spider-Man Homecoming. Where do you guys want to put that? 1 through 11.
8.
My hot take, I think it should be like 2 or 3.
5? It's like right in the middle for me.
I would agree with 5. I'll land on 5.
I'm pretty high on it, man. I don't know. Can we do 4?
4?
I think this is as good as it's going to get with us agreeing with Sean, so I'm willing to do 4.
I'm
really high on Homecoming. Listen, I'm really high on Homecoming, and the reason I'm really high on Homecoming is because apart from the Spider-Verse movies, that's the closest we're going to get to like an actual young high school Spider-Man. And I don't like Spider-Verse at all, but I feel like it is like in terms of like the Spider-Man we see in the comics where it is a kid Spider-Man, Homecoming is the closest we get to that, and I'm really high on it. I really love Michael Keaton's Vulture. I don't know. My hot take is that Homecoming is great. I know it's like not everybody loves it as much as I do, but I'm really high on Homecoming.
It's fine. It's fine. Like I don't hate it, but I'm literally surprised you like that movie.
Like John Hughes directed a Spider-Man.
I mean, that's fair. That's the vibe they're going for. I will say that if we can go 4, that's fine. But I will compromise there. You're going to have to compromise that this movie is going to need to be around number 5 or 6, though, because I like this one a lot better than that one. I like that one.
Moving this one a little up if we put Homecoming at 4.
Okay, so hold on. So we're doing Far From Home. So where am I putting Far From Home? We're doing 5.
I said Homecoming.
Did I say Homecoming? I thought I said Far From Home.
Oh no, you said Homecoming.
You said Homecoming.
Okay, sorry. So Homecoming, we want to put 4.
Homecoming 4.
Yeah.
Okay, Homecoming 4. Okay. For the record, I'm not playing, but for the record, I actually don't mind this. I think Homecoming is pretty great. I'm actually a big fan of that. Okay, let's go Spider-Man 3 from the original Raimi trilogy.
I would be totally fine putting this anywhere near the bottom. Even if we wanted to put this as very bottom, I'd be fine with it.
Let's do like 9 or 8.
What do you think is below this?
Huh?
I'm going to say that as
a
Spider-Man
below that. Yeah.
As a Spider-Man 3 apologist,
I knew we'd find one.
in that I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as most people will tell you it is. I think that 8 or 9 is probably fine.
There's 11, right?
There's 11, yeah.
I mean, I know what my number 11 is going to be, and I'm not going to compromise on it. So.
I would be fine with 9.
Yeah.
All right, 9.
We're all good. We're all good with 9.
So,
Spider-Man
3.
9. Ooh, that's crazy. All right, let's switch to animated. So let's do Across the Spider-Verse.
I want this to be as like I'd be fine putting it at 8, 10, or 11. Honestly,
I love how much you hate this movie.
I do not like Across the Spider-Verse.
I mean, 7 or 8, 6, 7, 8. It's all fine by me. I know what my 10 and 11 are going to be. So 6, 7, 8, anywhere in there is fine by me.
I would go with 8. I'd be fine with 8. Are you going to defend it?
I mean,
Roberto?
I feel like I can't change your mind, so like sure. I know a losing battle when I see it, so yeah.
I like how both of us agree that this movie's overrated.
When these two agree, I can't like. What do you want me to do? Okay.
I mean, you can.
I don't
for Homecoming if you want to stand up for Across the Spider-Verse, but
I mean, honestly, Across the Spider-Verse is half of a movie, so I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. When are we? Wait, is Beyond coming out next year or in 2 years?
I think it's
last time I checked, it was supposed to be a year ago. So,
all right. So we'll put Across the Spider-Verse at 8.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do The Amazing Spider-Man 2012.
10.
I actually like The Amazing Spider-Man.
I like Andrew Garfield in The Amazing Spider-Man. I like Reese Evans in The Amazing Spider-Man.
Is great. We can all agree there, but like for me personally,
I think that movie is a goddamn mess.
I don't think it's a mess. It's fine. It's
I wouldn't fight for it being any higher than 7,
though. So,
but I'm willing to put it at 10. Yeah.
We already have 8 and 9, so let's put it at 10.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 8, 9. I can't wait to find out how you guys fight over 11. This is going to be so much fun. All right. Then let's go ahead and do Far From Home. So we'll do Spider-Man Far From Home.
Middle of the road.
Yeah.
I don't have any passionate opinions about this. What do we have left?
6 and 7.
Or 6 and 7 both available.
Yeah,
I was waiting for
6, 7.
Maybe this is a hot take. If we have 6 and 7 left, I'm going to say Far From Home should be 7.
Okay.
I'm not upset with it. I think it's.
Wait. I have them backwards. If we have 6 and 7 left, Far From Home with Jakey G should be 6.
I'm fine with that.
Let's put it at 6. Yeah.
Okay. So Far From Home.
I like it. I don't love it, but I like it. So.
Okay. All right. Then let's jump and let's do the original Spider-Man.
What do we have
3
at the top? What do we have?
3.
Left?
Yeah, you have the first 3 spots open.
And then we have 7 and 11.
Then you have 5, 7, and 11.
3. Yeah.
3.
Yeah, I'm good with 3.
3.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original Spider-Man at 3.
I'm good with 3.
Okay. Let's do the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
11.
11.
I like it more than some of the others, but I'm definitely not giving it 5. So
it's literally the only Spider-Man movie I can just say I just didn't like.
I like it, but I don't 5 like it, so I'm good with giving it 11.
Yeah.
I'm not going
Okay.
to.
All right.
I'm not going to fight for that.
I don't like it.
I find it interesting that anyone would object to the comic book crossover ham-handed BS in this movie and then say that the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is good.
I like the Sinister Six, and that's why I like the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I will say Electro shouting "You forgot my birthday" is like one of the worst things that's ever happened in a comic book movie, period. But
I mean, it's great if you consider
that to be. I would have liked if we could have like slid down Spider-Man 3 a little bit and maybe put it a little higher, but I'm not going to fight for that to be 5.
There just wasn't enough Paul Giamatti, honestly. I mean, it would have.
I'm going to say that there's 2 things I'll say about it. One is that scene of all the scenes of Electro are amazing if you consider the film an absurdist masterpiece. But also that I think the reason I would always put 3 ahead of both of the Amazing Spider-Man movies is that Raimi, despite the fact that 3 is not super successful and clearly has a lot of studio interference and being like, you must use Venom and blah, 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 Raimi inherently understands the character better than those 2 movies.
Mm-hmm. I think I also messed up. I think we have 10. So I'm gonna recount. We might have to shift everything up 1. If you guys,
Someone.
As long as Amazing Spider-Man 2 is at the bottom, that's fine.
We have
One-
3 Raimi,
1, 2,
2
3
Spider-Verse,
Raimi,
2
2
Amazing,
Spider-Verse.
and 4. 3, 2, 2, 4 is 11.
Is 11? What am I missing then? Okay, sorry, I'm going off the list. Okay,
You haven't done.
Oh, okay. Hold on. So we'll work through it until we get down. So let's do No Way Home.
What do we have left on our spots?
So
we put Far From Home at 6 so that I can say
Yeah.
that No Way Home should be 7.
See, I would flip those personally. But
I would too.
And honestly, like they're
we still
so
have 5
similar
left,
to me.
though, right?
you have 5. You have 5, 7,
I
1,
want to
2.
put this in 5. Roberto, will you go with me on 5?
I hate to agree with Sean, but I mean, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I gotta go 5 on this, man.
yeah.
I
I'll
think
do
Far
it.
From Home is the better movie, but for the sake of consensus, I will concede on this one.
Okay. All right. So let's see. So that's all 3 of those. That's one of these. Okay.
You're still missing Spider-Man 2, Into the Spider-Verse, and Brand New Day.
Yes, that's the one I'm. Thank you. So let's do Brand New Day. Where's Brand New Day going?
7.
What do we have? Sorry, hang on. Where are we at right now? So we have
1, 2, and 7.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
missing
So you
Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2, and Brand New Day. Brand New Day.
Oh, then it
Okay,
has.
no,
Then
it
it
has
has
to
to
be-
go 7, which I disagree with, but that's where
I
it's
kind
going
of
to go.
disagree with because we kind of shot ourselves in the foot by this goddamn game.
That's why.
but yeah,
That's why I love blind rankings. Blind rankings are so
Yeah.
fun.
yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna put Brand New Day at 7.
Yes, that's the only way this works.
You're gonna
That
get
is
a
literally
score. I
only-
hope you know that.
I think that
I just think it's very funny that your almost all of the Tom Holland movies are ranked in order of their release.
Is it actually?
It's almost, and you
No Way
you
Home
guys
above
wanted
both
to swap No Way Home and Far From Home because we were so right now you have 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is Homecoming, No Way Home, Far From Home, and Brand New Day.
Oh my god.
I actually thought that we still had 5 left, so that's part of the problem. but I mean, yeah, if it's the only spot we have left, that's the place it has to go.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a feeling I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
I knew these two. I knew this is why I saved these two for last because I knew for sure that these were going to be so what we got 1 and 2, Into the Spider-Verse and Spider-Man 2. So where
in that order.
Spider-Man 2, 1.
Oh
Wait.
wow.
Hold on. So Spider-Man 2 is at number 1, right?
Yeah, that's how I would put it.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man.
I
2,
don't have a problem. My personal ranking would put Into the Spider-Verse first, but I don't actually have a problem with it either way. Like
I don't have a huge problem with it either way. I think both are great.
Yeah.
But I would put.
It's a little bit
Spider-Man
sad
2.
that like Raimi is my favorite director, so it's always going to be a little bit sad that I put him at number 2. But like it's I think that Into the Spider-Verse really nails Spider-Man in a way that only Spider-Man 2 also has. So like 1 and 2, 2 and 1, like whatever. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will say though, one of my most controversial opinions I've ever had in my life was that I was a bigger fan of Incredibles 2 than Into the Spider-Verse. And I once said that in the middle of a crowded room, and literally everyone went silent and then started shouting at me. When
Where was this for that
it was
to
when I
happen?
was in college, and I was like, look, I still think Into the Spider-Verse is like a 9.8 out of 10. I just love Incredibles 2. But
God, that's such a hot take.
It's interesting too, because like this is like it's a very internet thing where you're just like, I like A more than B, and people will be like, why did you hate B? Why?
What? So we're just not even going to talk about C? What's up, man?
Yeah, exactly. Like
that's how internet argues. All right, so we're going to go over our blind rankings. So at number 11, we have The Amazing Spider-Man 2. At number 10, we have The Amazing Spider-Man. Rest in peace, Andrew Garfield. So sorry for you. Number 9 is Spider-Man 3. Number 8 is Across the Spider-Verse. Number 7 is Brand New Day. Number 6 is Far From Home. Number 5 is No Way Home. Number 4 is Homecoming. And our top 3 is number 3 is Spider-Man. Number 2 is Into the Spider-Verse. And number 1 is Spider-Man 2.
You know, I think it's actually a very good ranking. If I could have fixed one thing, I would have flipped Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 3. Like, that's the only thing I would have. I mean, like, in terms of my personal ranking, it's obviously different, but I think in terms of the blind ranking, it's not bad.
I'm gonna say you guys actually did a pretty good job considering how far spread you guys were on Brand New Day, where it went from like I love this to I hate this and everything in between, and then having you guys all kind of blind rank these together. I actually think you guys did a pretty good job.
I would say that the only thing I would change is that because I've messed up with what numbers we had left, I would put Brand New Day as the highest ranked Tom Holland one personally. But ultimately, any Spider-Man ranking that has 2 and Into the Spider-Verse at the top and Amazing Spider-Man 2 at the bottom is basically valid for me. So
that's true. Yeah, pretty much whatever you do in between kind of doesn't matter as long as you get those right. Yeah, no, that's true. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. This is a great discussion. So, Roberto, tell everybody where they can find you.
I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at the Club Ortiz. You'll see me post my reviews on there and thoughts. I am also a writer for Geek Vibes Nation, so I post quite a bit of articles, like quite frequently. So yeah,
awesome. And Matthew, where everybody can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on the socials. I'm predominantly on Threads and Instagram at SmatthewAF. You can also find me on other socials at variations of that, but mostly those two. You can also find me as a writer here on ForReel. You can find me, and I write freelance for a number of places. So you can find my bylines on That Shelf and Exclaim.ca and Movies We Texted About and a host of others. I also run 2 sites myself. One is called Awesome Friday, which is a more general pop culture blog, and Northern Reel, which is a very new Canadian-focused cinema and TV site, which I'm pretty excited about. So, all of those places.
And Sean, tell them where people can avoid you.
Yeah, so my reviews are on Fandom Wire, and my social medias are on Letterboxd, Instagram, and X as @BigTunaOnFilm.
Awesome. And then you guys can find me on the socials at DRock Comedy. It's DROK Comedy. That's on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find me on Facebook because I'm a 40-year-old man. You can just search my name and I will be there. You can find all of my reviews at That Hollywood Show or NerdBot.com. You can also find any of my podcast work here at This Is For Real. And I think a lot of us will see you at TIFF. I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
But you guys can follow all of us there. So thank you guys so much. And we'll see you after the next movie.